Joplin City officials says that the outreach group's current location is causing a negative impact on operations. I'm Blake Gully. I'll have that story in the group's response coming up.
Plus, Newton County first responders sharpen their skills, training for situations they hope never happen.
With Obamacare subsidies soon to expire, will Congress be able to solve the health care crisis by the end of the year? I'm Rebecca Castor with more on the critical votes in the Senate tomorrow.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A battle over feeding the hungry plays out on the steps of Joplin City Hall. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. A Joplin outreach group serving meals outside City Hall has been asked to relocate. City leaders say the setup is causing access concerns, but volunteers believe the location is essential. KOAM's Blake Gully has more from the group's effort to serve the community.
I'm here asking you to relocate.
On behalf of
I'm trying to do it nicely.
On behalf of
the City of Joplin.
Louder, please.
The City of Joplin.
The City of Joplin would like what?
For you to be successful in feeding people and going to
but
a
not
more
on public
suitable
property.
location.
I'm standing outside of Joplin City Hall on the same sidewalk that Hopeful Bites provides meals to those in need. But now the city says that same outreach is causing a problem and they would like the group to move. The group says their work matters in this location and they're pushing back.
The city has an obligation to help the people in the community. And if they're not willing to do so, maybe one of the organizations that gets tax benefits would be willing to do so. If not, then there's a very large problem that needs addressed, and we will be here until it is addressed.
In a letter provided to the group, the city says locating such services on any city sidewalk within the right-of-way presents multiple potential ordinance violations. The letter also states the current location has a negative impact on city operations, including foot traffic in the nearby trolley stop. For now, the group plans to continue offering meals outside of City Hall. Reported in Joplin, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
The city says several local shelters, including Watered Gardens, Souls Harbor, and the Salvation Army, have offered to host the group if they choose to relocate. Meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. It was a little windy out there today, but we still reached a high temperature of 50 degrees out there today. Take a look. 50 degrees is what we saw for our high. Our average high, 49 for this time of year. So we were right there. But with the windy conditions we saw out there, it made it feel a little bit cooler. Now, where we're sitting right now, take a look at this. We are currently at 37 degrees. It feels like 33 out there. The winds have since calmed down out of the west-northwest, right around 5 miles per hour. Here's the thing, though. From yesterday, we are around 15 degrees cooler, especially in Carl Junction here, than we were yesterday. So Carl Junction, Carthage, Stockton, all a little bit cooler than that point yesterday. So it's definitely feeling chilly out there tonight. We're going to see temperatures stay fairly steady as we're going to see some cloud cover move in. We're only going to be dropping to around 35 degrees. We have a lot to talk about, though. We have some systems that are going to move in, some warmer air to talk about as well, and then a frigid weekend. All that's coming up.
All right, thanks, Austin. 2 semis crashed on Interstate 44 in Jasper County early this morning. It happened around 4:15 a.m. The collision broke open trailers, spilling paper plates and small food items across the roadway. Other vehicles were damaged after hitting the debris. And a semi hauling cattle crashed into a passing train Tuesday morning in Montgomery County. The collision happened on Highway 169 at the railroad crossing north of Cherryvale. Authorities say the semi failed to stop before hitting one of the rail cars. The driver suffered serious injuries and was airlifted to a hospital. Several cattle were safely removed, though some of the animals were hurt. Newton County first responders practiced for life or death situations today, running through active threat scenarios as they hope never to face in real life. The training exercises involved multiple agencies, including the Sheriff's Office and local fire departments. KOAM's Mitch Adams shows us how these drills prepare officers for high-stakes emergencies.
You can talk about this stuff in a classroom all you want and talk scenarios, but in reality it's putting that into practice. and making sure that it actually works.
Several law enforcement and emergency response agencies, including the Newton County Sheriff and Reddings Mill Fire, participated in an active threat exercise. Active threat training gives first responders real-world experience working in a high-stakes situation.
A couple different scenarios we worked on. One was an active shooter event at a church and how our response would be, and then EMS and fire responding after that as well. And then another scenario we did where there was a criminal act of a gas leak inside the church, and which obviously is going to prompt a different response from law enforcement, fire, and EMS, and so we want to make sure we cover that as well.
The Newton County Sheriff's Office would like the public to know that these trainings keep response tactics fresh in the mind of officers and responders in case of a tragic event.
I think it's important that the community knows that we're out here training and we're preparing for that scenario that we hope we never have to face. But what we want them to know is that if we do have a scenario like this, we're prepared for that and we're going to be able to respond.
Reporting in Neosho, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Sheriff Stewart says these exercises help evaluate current procedures and make improvements for possible real-world events. Well, Christmas magic filled the aisles at the Neosho Walmart as the Newton County Sheriff's Department brought their annual Shop with a Deputy program to local children. Each child received $100 to spend on holiday gifts, whether for themselves or for loved ones. And deputies help their kids navigate their Christmas shopping while teaching valuable lessons about budgeting. Sheriff Matt Stewart says the holiday tradition creates special bonds between officers and the community.
Yeah, it's just a great time where we get to come and hang out with kids, get to help make their Christmas a little bit brighter. It's a great community event, and they get to know that we're there for them.
The annual Christmas program is funded entirely through private donations. Coming up, a new healthcare partnership.
A new healthcare cooperative will make it easier for Southeast Kansas residents to get the right care close to home. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have more on that coming up.
And later, downtown Joplin gains safe housing as the freshly renovated Byers apartment building meets modern standards.
Join us at 7 a.m.
A new healthcare partnership launches in Southeast Kansas, and Southeast Kansas Health now includes Labette Health, Wilson Medical Center, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, 4 County Mental Health Center Incorporated, and the Southeast Kansas Mental Health Center. KOAM's Kenny Foreman finds out what the cooperative's leaders are hoping to accomplish.
Traditionally, there's been a lot of, competition and isolation in Southeast Kansas with different organizations. So this is the first opportunity we've had to work with like-minded organizations to build something together.
Instead of competing with each other, the organizations are instead collaborating to expand their network of care even further.
Maybe we have psychiatry services here, maybe we have wound care services here that are referred to, maybe we have swing bed services that other facilities can utilize. So it's a benefit for patients. It's keeping them in Southeast Kansas versus transferring, to Oklahoma or to other states.
A recent assessment conducted by Wilson Medical Center found that many patients are looking for better mental and behavioral health resources. Through this new health cooperative, it'll be much easier for them to get the help that they need.
Sad reality in the United States is individuals with a severe mental illness tend to die 25 years earlier than people without a severe mental illness, and there's a variety of reasons for that. One of those reasons is the difficulty in navigating healthcare.
At a time where access to care isn't always affordable, the cooperative finds innovative ways to bridge the gap.
It's a very rural population. Poverty is an issue for any number of individuals. So again, being able to literally work with a system that by design is meant to help you identify where do we need to help you get that is still local.
In Southeast Kansas, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Each participating organization will have a board member that will regularly discuss the vision and goals for the coalition with its fellow organizations. Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, freezing temperatures pose unique threats to elderly residents. We look at simple steps to prevent cold weather emergencies.
happier. Center for the Arts.
Well, besides chasing around your Christmas decorations today, it was a pretty good day outside dealing with those winds. Let's take a look at your Skywatch storm tracker here. We're taking a look. You'll notice that we have some systems moving across the United States right now. We have one off to our east that is kind of pushed out of the area, but look how deep that digs in there. So that's actually the trough that we're dealing with. We have a ridge here, and we are just kind of riding along the edge of that ridge here, so it's kind of keeping us at bay from any precipitation as we head into the evening and the next system that'll be coming as we head into the weekend, which we'll talk about in just a couple minutes. But right now the winds, if you look at these flags, are blowing west-northwest right now. That's our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex camera that you saw there. Heading into this evening, we'll see temperatures right around 35 degrees. You notice the cloud cover beginning to move in as we head into the evening. The good news is, while it does move into the area, it keeps temperatures fairly steady throughout tonight, but then starts to clear out by the time we head into those overnight hours. So even by 2 a.m., notice winds have now shifted out of the south. Clouds clearing out. It's going to lead way to some warmer conditions for tomorrow. But first, we got to get through this slightly chilly evening. 35 degrees tonight. Winds are calm out there. Clouds clear overnight, but we're staying cool and dry throughout the evening tonight. Winds will be returning tomorrow. It's mainly going to be in the morning and afternoon, kind of the similar situation of what we saw today. We're not going to see them blowing as vigorously as we did today, but nevertheless, we're going to see winds around 10-15 miles per hour, gusting upwards of around 20, maybe 25 max for tomorrow. But the good news is the winds will be blowing out of the south this time, bringing in warmer air for us. So that's something that we get to look forward to for your Thursday. So what's been going on with the weather? Well, today we saw a cold front pass off to our south. That brought in some cooler air and some winds with it as well that were just whipping around. Well, now a warm front begins to kick that cold front out of the area, and then warmer air begins to move into the area. All this warm air comes out of the southwest, and it's going to set up a beautiful Thursday nearing 60 degrees. 58 is where we're going to be for tomorrow. We're still dealing with some winds out there, but not as windy as what we saw for today. Friday, still looking good. A little bit cooler. Winds shift once again as we get another weak cold front that moves through. A few passing clouds out there. Temperatures holding steady in the upper 40s for your Friday, but still plenty of sunshine to be seen out there. Our next system, as I mentioned, we're riding along the edge of this ridge here, and this low does not dig down deep enough to get us in position to deal with any snow, so that kind of just rides along the jet stream here and continues eastward, keeps us dry, but I'll tell you, some cooler temperatures are on the way. Here's a look at your jet stream here as it continues just to kind of move eastward, or some zonal flows, how it starts out, and there's your low pressure. And again, it just doesn't dig down deep enough there for us. Let's take a look at your 10-day forecast. As we head into the weekend, those cooler temperatures down to 16 degrees Saturday night. Into next week, though, they recover well. We're back into the 40s, into the 50s by the middle part of next week, and we're talking about 60s again by next weekend.
Oh, wow. A lot of changes. There are some pretty cold nights this weekend, too.
Yeah, we just get through that, and there's some good days ahead.
All right, we'll take that. Thanks, Austin. Well, with colder weather back on the horizon, older adults should protect themselves when temperatures drop. Here's Garrett Hamilton with what medical professionals recommend.
Kevin Russenstrom works with the senior population day in and day out. In his years of experience at senior age, he's witnessed the direct impact dangerous cold can bring to vulnerable groups.
It really can be debilitating. You know, if their phone does not work because of power outages, they then can't get out because, their gait in walking, they're unsure how to manage that or navigate walking through the snow or ice.
It's something Mercy nurse practitioner Neely Gondway sees as well. Whether with friends or family, she says it's important seniors have a network of people who can help in times of need. Additionally, staying healthy can be one of the most effective ways to prevent medical problems in the cold.
Exercise helps with circulation, helps keep the heart healthy as well, and it helps keep the body warm, especially in the cold weather.
Though walking outside has its benefits, senior citizens should avoid doing it during the early morning hours when temperatures are at their coldest. But even if you decide to venture out in the middle of the afternoon sun, you'll still want to make sure to grab plenty of layers, just like this. And that's because it's better to have more layers and take them off than it is to be caught in the extreme cold. Additionally, eating a high-protein diet can lead to improved muscle mass, and plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables can strengthen your immune system. If inclement weather is in the forecast,
make sure that they have their medications handy, because ice or snow conditions might affect them getting to the pharmacy to get their medications.
missed medication can lead to medical emergencies. Another medical emergency to be aware of: hypothermia. Early signs include shivering and changes in skin color, while more advanced signs can be a bit more concerning.
Another thing for the elderly, though, it could be confusion, just not acting like their normal self, fatigue. If that happens, really important to check that temperature in the house.
If you start to experience any of these symptoms, take your temperature and go to the hospital if the internal temperature is 95 degrees or less.
Well, coming up next, another potential rate cut.
The Federal Reserve announces its latest rate cut as investors look ahead at who might become the next Fed chair. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the latest coming up.
Learn how you can help kids this Christmas at KOAN.
The Federal Reserve cut interest rates today for the third time this year. Chairman Jerome Powell says more cuts are not guaranteed as President Trump prepares to name his successor. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals.
The Fed votes to make its third and final cut of the year, once again taking it down by a 1/4 percentage point. Investors watched Chairman Jerome Powell's speech for clues about where things will go next year, and it appears rate cuts could be harder to come by.
We are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
President Trump has been hounding the Fed chair for not making cuts sooner.
Jerome, too late. He's too late with his interest rates. Got to get the rates down, you schmuck.
Some board members dissented. 2 wanted to pause rates, and 1 wanted an even deeper cut. The latest decision comes as the president pushes his economic agenda for 2026. Despite some positive trends, Democrats are seizing on a drop in consumer confidence.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Costs haven't gone down. Costs are going up.
Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety.
President Trump will soon have the chance to replace Powell. Many see Kevin Hassett as the clear frontrunner for the job. The current director of the National Economic Council has stressed that he would keep the Fed independent.
They've got plenty of room to cut rates. They'll do a little bit this time, but they'll probably need to do some more.
Hassett says he expects the president to make his decision on who will be the next Fed chair in the next week or two. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
A downtown Joplin apartment building that was once unfit for habitation now has a new look. The Byers apartment complex underwent major renovation to meet current safety codes. The project faced delays after contractors discovered extensive environmental and health issues. ProX Property Management CEO says bringing the building up to Joplin standards transformed the renovation into new construction. Well, coming up next, the SEK Humane Society hosts a shelter party celebrating their rescue from closure.
Maybe there's cash inside.
The SEK Humane Society is hosting a shelter party this weekend, celebrating their extended timeline after original fears of closing this month. Director Jasmine Kyle says community donations and support changed everything for the struggling shelter. Operations will now continue through May of 2026, giving hundreds of animals a second chance at finding homes.
It means everything, especially for us as a no-kill animal shelter. These kids depend on us. I mean, we are the ones that work with them every single day, and it's up to us for that responsibility to make sure they have a future. So that's why we've been fighting every single day, every single hour.
Saturday's celebration honors the donors and volunteers who stepped up when the shelter needed them most. The free event runs from noon to 4 with cupcakes, shelter tours, and meet and greets with adoptable animals. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Peace negotiations to end the war in Ukraine enter a critical stage. I'm Alexandria Hopp in Washington with more on that story coming up.
And healthcare premiums could double for millions unless Congress acts by December 31st.
Big Bang Theory.
Best for last. Call Windows for less.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Lawmakers in Washington are staring down a year-end crisis, soaring healthcare premiums, unless Congress approves a new plan.
It's crunch time on Capitol Hill. COVID-era Obamacare subsidies expire on December 31st. And unless Congress takes action, premiums could double for millions of Americans.
This is the kind of increase where you can't pay your rent, you can't buy groceries, you can't pay for shoes for kids. It's an emergency.
On Thursday, the Senate will vote on dueling plans. Democrats want a 3-year extension on the ACA subsidies, while Republicans have agreed to put forth a new proposal that would expand health savings accounts.
Tomorrow is a moment of truth for the Republicans here in the Senate. Are they going to bring health care costs down, or will they sit by and let premiums explode for millions of Americans?
We Republicans are trying to make it better. We want money in your pocket for your out-of-pocket, and they want you to front the whole thing.
Without bipartisan support, neither bill is expected to get the 60 votes needed to pass. Therefore, the House is working on its own plan.
But you're going to see a package come together that will be on the floor next week that will actually reduce premiums for 100% of Americans.
And the critical deadline comes as President Trump is under pressure to show skeptical voters he's doing enough to make life more affordable.
We're also working to bring down the cost of health care. Obamacare is a scam. Under Obamacare, trillions of dollars were given directly to health insurance companies.
The White House hasn't directly endorsed the GOP plan in the Senate, but the president is supportive of giving federal aid directly to patients. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, U.S. job openings were mostly stagnant in October. The latest Labor Department numbers show employers posted 7.67 million job openings, up from 7.66 million in September. The report also found layoffs jumped to nearly 1.9 million in October, the most since January of 2023, while the number of people quitting their jobs fell. President Trump speaks with EU leaders today about ending the war in Ukraine. The president says he exchanged strong words with a group during the phone calls. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff reports from Washington.
What Putin is doing is not human.
The head of the European Union's Enlargement Commission in Ukraine touring a thermal plant hit hard by Russian airstrikes. The EU is currently helping Kyiv restore power plants to keep electricity and heat running through the winter.
After a missile and drone attack, as you can see, the consequences are just terrible, large scale. Our energy equipment has been destroyed. It is expensive.
During the trip, Commissioner Marta Koss insisted Ukraine's path to joining the 27-member bloc is, quote, inevitable. Her remarks came as peace talks to end the war enter a critical stage, with the White House confirming President Trump spoke by phone with leaders from France, the UK, and Germany. Talks happening just days after Trump called Europe's political leaders weak.
But most European nations, they're decaying. They're decaying.
A claim the British Prime Minister pushed back on.
What I see is a strong Europe, united behind Ukraine and united behind our long-standing values of freedom and democracy.
All this happening as Kyiv delivers its latest peace proposals to U.S. negotiators, focused on Ukraine's post-war reconstruction and economic development. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky writing on X, quote, in parallel, we are finalizing work on the 20 points of a fundamental document that could define the parameters for ending the war, and we expect to deliver this document to the United States in the near future. Details on those proposals will likely be the focus of talks between Ukraine and its European allies on Thursday. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, are you misreading your pet's emotions?
Dog owners might think they know how their pet is feeling, but new research shows many could be in the dark. I'm Marianne Rafferty. That and much more coming right up.
The warehouse clearance sales.
Today was a fairly mild day. Besides the wind out there, that might have blown around some loose Christmas decorations. But right now, things have calmed down. Let's take a look at your Skywatch weather, Skywatch storm tracker here. Take a look. So we're seeing a system off to the east pushing in, and what you'll notice is here in Joplin, oh my gosh, look, you're seeing some what looks to be snow on there, but really what we're seeing is known as virga and maybe even some radar overshoot here. So basically what's happening here is there's just enough moisture in the upper level of the atmosphere that it is actually giving some ways to some precipitation, but because the surface area is actually drier and we don't see those dew points higher, they're actually fairly low, all that precipitation is evaporating before it even reaches the surface area or as it makes its way into the troposphere here. Now, the radar overshoot, that just kind of reflects light back down and it starts to look a little bit like precipitation there. So not seeing anything there actually on the radar. We see that here on our downtown Joplin camera provided by Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex here. We are seeing the winds out of the west-northwest right now, but they're blowing a little bit calmer tonight. We're seeing them right now about 5 to 8 miles per hour. Tonight, overnight temperature is going to be around 35 degrees. Clouds clearing overnight. We stay cool and dry. Now, what's been with the weather here? Well, we saw a cold front pass today. That pushed south. That brought in some of that wind and cooler air that we saw, kept our temperatures around 50 degrees. But now a warm front begins to move in. Winds shift out of the southwest overnight tonight, bringing in some warmer air and returning our temperatures to some really comfortable conditions for your Thursday. Let's talk about those winds because they do pick up again as we head into tomorrow. They shift out of the southwest here. Winds pick back up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Could see gusts upwards of 20 to 25, but because it's southerly flow and we're actually going to be seeing some warmer conditions, that's going to bring in even more warm air. So we could actually see these temperatures break into the 60s tomorrow. We're at 58 right now, but if we see enough sunshine, we might just break into 60. Friday also looking good out there. We're going to stay in the upper 40s for your Friday, but another weak cold front passes. That's going to keep our temperatures in those upper 40s, but not a lot of cloud cover out there, so more sunshine on the way. Now, here's your jet stream. We see what's known as zonal flow here, west to east. We have this low pressure system up here that actually begins to dip in here, but as it does, we're just on the edge of that, so we're not going to see any precipitation from that, but we are going to be on the back edge of that, which is going to bring in this northwesterly flow of winds and cold air as that front passes through. So we see, we take a look at our upper flow, we'll see that system begin to move in on Saturday. That's where all that cooler air is. Let's take a look at your 10-day forecast. Check out how far those temperatures are going to fall. Take a look at this. Saturday night, 16 degrees. It'll feel in the single digits out there with the wind chill, but temperatures recover fairly well as we head into next week, Tanya.
All right. I mean, pretty cold, but I mean, there's a lot of variance in there. For sure.
Yeah, and especially being back in the 50s by next week, we can do it.
We can definitely do it. All right. Thanks, Austin. Well, Santa's sleigh got an upgrade today as Crawford County first graders and special education students rode the Christmas Express train from Pittsburgh, Watco, and the South Kansas-Oklahoma Railroad. They sponsored the festive trips featuring visits from Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. The annual tradition combines holiday cheer with important railroad safety lessons for local children.
We just, teach them. We show some videos. We give them activity books with exercises about where to stop at railroad crossings, how far to stay back, don't put things on the tracks, things like that. Just pretty basic stuff because, these are 5, 6, 7-year-olds.
More than 550 students took part in today's train ride. Well, still ahead, women's basketball is putting together wins on the hard court at Pitt State. The Gorillas have built a 6-1 record on the season so far. Sports Director Ryan Blank has that story and more coming up next in sports.
The Pitt State women's basketball team is off to another strong start this season, currently sitting at 6-1 with 3 consecutive wins over Angelo State, Central Oklahoma, and Rogers State. And throughout their first 7 games of the year, the Gorillas' young players have stepped up and adopted big roles, including guard Marin Adams, who leads the team in scoring. And with only 1 senior on the roster, Pitt State needed their youth to adapt to the college level quickly, and the veteran players, they're loving what they've seen so far.
Honestly, it makes me so entirely happy because I know that I was not ready when I came in. So seeing that they're able to come in and take on such a big role and that we're able to help them do whatever we can, you know, be together on that, I'm appreciative, and they're working so hard, and yeah, we're so much better with them.
Another freshman leading the way is center Casey McCumber. One strength for the Gorillas this season has come on the glass rebounding. Pitt State has won the battle on the boards in 6 games this year, and McCumber, she's averaging over 10 rebounds per game, and her aggressiveness on the glass, it's translated to her teammates.
She just has a knack for getting to the ball. Her hands are like magnets, and if it's in her area, she's coming down with it. You're not going to get the rebound from her if you're in the same area as her. Like you might be in a jump ball on the floor, but you're not going to take it from her. And so, so just proud of her effort on the rebounding. It makes a huge difference. It gives us some energy. We really value getting boards, especially on the offensive end, especially when our shots aren't falling as we would like them to be. Casey's been tremendous throughout the whole entire season, so we've got to continue to lift her up and, you know, do our job as well.
She's a hard worker. We know she's going to crash, so we got to take some weight off her sometimes, so help her out on the offensive boards and defensive side. So yeah, just, you know, every shot is a pass off the backboard, no matter if it goes in. So just really attacking, getting those extra possessions.
The Gorillas are back in action on Saturday on the road against Fort Hays State. Tip-off at 2 p.m. in Hays. The indoor track and field season is underway with a strong showing from Pitt State at the Crimson and Gold Invitational last Saturday. And after some great starts to the year and some great performances, a pair of Gorillas earned weekly recognition. Pitt State's Drew Wilhite and Rachel Wilson have been named the MIAA Athletes of the Week. On the men's side, Wilhite, he kicked off the season with a top finish in the heptathlon with 5,192 points. And in the women's competitions, Wilson set a new meet record in high jump, clearing 5 feet and 10.5 inches en route to a first place finish. It may be the off season, but that doesn't mean we can't get excited about some baseball, as the MLB draft lottery was held on Tuesday with the Royals and Cardinals eagerly awaiting their pick. Starting with the Royals, who cashed in big, landing the 6th overall pick in this year's draft. Kansas City entered the day with the 13th best odds to land the top pick at 0.8%. And if Kansas City didn't get a lottery pick, they were set to pick 16th overall. A big win for the Royals, who recently used the 6th pick on outfielder Jack Caglione, and I think we all know who that is in this past year's draft. Kansas City additionally received a competitive balance pick where they owned the 30th overall selection as well. As for the Cardinals, they weren't so lucky. St. Louis entered the day with the 8th best odds for the number 1 pick, but were awarded the 13th overall selection. Like Kansas City, the Cards did receive a competitive balance pick of their own, getting the 32nd overall selection. That's it for sports. We're back with more after the break.
You think you know when your dog is happy or sad, but new research suggests dog owners aren't as good at reading their pets' emotions as they believe. The study finds people often misinterpret what their furry friends are actually feeling. Fox's Marianne Rafferty explains how this misreading could impact your pet's well-being.
While it's safe to assume most dog owners would do anything for their furry friends, new research finds many people might be barking up the wrong tree and misreading their pets' emotions.
There are quite big gaps in how we understand dogs are feeling, and that we're nothing like as good at it as we think we might be.
When it comes to interactions between people, previous studies show folks who are happy are also more likely to view others as being happy and vice versa. But teams at Arizona State University found the opposite can happen when it comes to how we see dogs.
If we're missing key signs of how our dog is feeling because we perceive something differently than what's actually happening, we might actually be misreading some signs. We might be putting them in bad welfare states when we think they're in good welfare states.
Researchers showed 300 participants various images of dogs, including a dog in a park, a dog on the side of a road, and more. Participants were then shown clips of 3 dogs who were either reacting to a positive, negative, or neutral situation. Teams discovered that people who saw images of happy dogs rated the dogs in the videos as being more sad. But those who saw pictures of sad dogs thought the dogs in the videos appeared happier.
Big picture, if we can better understand how we perceive dog emotions, we can better care for them.
While more research is needed to understand what's causing this, teams say learning how to gauge a pet's emotions can also reduce the chance for potential injuries like dog bites. I'm Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Baz Luhrmann brings Elvis back to life with newly discovered recordings and vintage concert film. That's up next in Hollywood Nation. The King steps back into the spotlight. Wham continues its holiday ascent and more. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has all the latest in today's Hollywood Nation.
The King returns, Wham hits new heights, and Jong celebrates in the Hollywood Nation.
You will be hunters.
Ken Jeong is reacting to big honors for K-pop Demon Hunters. The animated film scored 3 Golden Globes nominations, including Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song for Golden. Jeong, who stars in the movie, says it marks a meaningful moment for everyone involved in the film.
I got emotional, and it reminds me of when I was a part of Crazy Rich Asians a few years ago, where you're happier for your community and the people involved in making the film than for yourself.
Mariah Carey is bringing her Las Vegas holiday show to fans everywhere. The singer will stream the final performance of her Christmastime residency as part of the Here For It All holiday special, live December 13th on TikTok and Apple Music.
Last Christmas.
Wham's 1984 holiday classic Last Christmas hit a new milestone. 41 years after its release, the song reached its highest position ever on the Billboard charts, climbing to number 2 on both the Hot 100 and the Holiday 100. The track is now 9 times platinum in the U.S., cementing its popularity decades after its release. The King returns to the big screen in today's first looks. Neon dropped the teaser trailer for Baz Luhrmann's epic Elvis Presley in concert. The documentary blends long-lost footage from Presley's 1970s Las Vegas residencies with rare 16mm film from his 1972 concert movie Elvis on Tour, plus 8mm archival footage from Graceland and newly rediscovered recordings. It opens in IMAX February 20th before expanding nationwide February 27th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of lions playing in the snow at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.